What's up everybody, this is Yair and today we are going to learn how to draw Grand Priest Goku. Okay, so today we are going to learn how to draw Grand Priest Goku from Dragon Ball Super. If you'll check the description box, you can see all the materials I'm using for this tutorial along with Amazon product links. So we are going to draw Goku in his Ultra Instinct form. First I'm gonna start by drawing a perfect square. Each side is 4 centimeters, but you can draw it in any size you want to. Just make sure to use a suitable paper size. As you can see, I'm placing it in the middle, so I have room for the hair and the torso as well. I'm gonna start by drawing the wrinkles between the eyes. Then we are going to draw his left eye. We'll start with the eyebrow. We'll indicate the bump above his eye, and to draw the eye, we are simply going to use 3 lines, but make sure to draw the bottom line with a nice curve. Next, we'll draw the iris slightly to the left. We'll add the pupil and then some cheek marks. Awesome, so now I'm gonna do the same process for the left side, and if you want to see a more detailed tutorial on how to draw Dragon Ball Z eyes, you can check out my tutorials playlist. Next, I'm gonna draw the nose simply by drawing 7 lines. And one more line here. As you can see, the light source will come from the right side, meaning the left side will be darker, and therefore I place the shade on the left side. Next, we'll draw the mouth really close to the nose with a very tiny gap. We'll indicate the bottom lip and then draw 5 lines to create the jaw muscles and the chin. Awesome, now we are going to draw the ear. So first I'm gonna start by drawing the shape of the ear, and then I'll add all the details. I'm gonna do the same process for the left side, and if you want to maintain the right proportions, you can use a ruler. Once that we are done with that, we can move to the hair. So I'm gonna start by drawing his 4 spikes on the middle. As you can see, I'm covering his eyes a bit. Next I'm gonna draw 2 lines to create the neck, and I'm gonna draw it a bit wider. As opposed to Super Saiyan God, he has more muscles, although in the Dragon Ball Heroes they made him a bit thinner, so that's your choice. I prefer him to be a bit more bulk. Next I'm gonna draw the neck muscles and the trachea. And now we can go back to the hair. So what I'll do is draw 3 spikes on the right side. As you can see, I'm creating the spikes by using 2 to 3 lines. And for the left side, I'm gonna draw 5 more spikes. And we'll also add 1 more right there. Awesome, next what I'm gonna do is add some random lines from side to side in the direction of the spike. And we are done with the hair. So now we can start drawing the torso. First I'm gonna start by drawing the trap muscles. Then I'm gonna draw a rough sketch of the torso. And now I'm gonna refine it, so we are going to add some details. We'll start with the color of the shirt. And then we are simply going to add some creases. Next we are going to focus on his left arm. I'm gonna draw those puffy thingies on his shoulder. Then we'll draw the bicep and the forearm. Just like we did before, I'm gonna add some creases. And then we are going to do the same process for the right side, trying to maintain the same proportions. Awesome, so now what we want to do is draw his belt. Now I noticed that I don't have much room to draw the belt, so what I'll do is I redraw the belt a bit higher. And now I have room to draw the symbol. Now if you want, you can use this circles template to create a circle, or just draw a circle. This one just makes it a bit easier, so I'm gonna use it. And now we are going to draw Goku's kanji. If you are wondering about the meaning, it means wisdom or enlightenment. Awesome, now what we are going to do is add some more creases, and then we are going to draw the triangle on Goku's chest. Awesome, so we are not done yet. I think that Goku's pads, his shoulder fluffy thingies, I don't know how it's called, they should be a bit bigger. So we're going to add some more mass to it. Awesome, and now we can move on to the inking process. So for the inking process, I'm gonna use black pens. We are going to use a 0.1 and a 0.05. Those are the sizes of the pen's tips. For the body and the hair, I'm gonna use 0.1, but for the facial features, I'm gonna use 0.05, just because the line will be thinner and allow me to be much more accurate. Now for the inking process, what you want to do is rotate the page, so you can go with your natural hand movement. In my opinion, this is the best way to ink because it's much more comfortable. Of course, take your time, try to be as accurate as you can, and once we are done with that, we can move on to the coloring process. Awesome, so now what I'm gonna do is take the notorious charcoal eraser, and we are going to get rid of all the lead. And I'm also gonna take this eraser stick, and I'll erase all those stubborn areas. And now that it's clean, and make sure it's clean, we can start use the Copic markers. So the Copic markers are alcohol based markers, which means they can blend very well. If you look at your top left of the screen, you can see the exact number of copies I'll be using. We are going to start with his uniform. So first I'm gonna start with the brightest areas. Then we'll move to the mid-tone, and as you can see I'm coloring with the direction of the shape. That way the shirt will look much more realistic other than flat. Next I'm gonna use the darkest tone for the darkest areas. And now I'm gonna add some layers and do some blending. So I'm gonna start with the mid-tone. And then I'll use the brightest tone again, adding more layers and blending the colors. And I'm gonna use the darkest tone again just because I want to have more shade in this area. Awesome, and this is the result we are going after. Now you can also use a different method. In that case I'm starting with the darkest tone, marking all the shaded areas. Then I'll use the mid-tone. Now I don't think it's dark enough, so I'm gonna use the darkest tone again, adding more layers. And finally blend it all with the brightest tone. So as you can see, there's more than one method. Basically by trial and error you can see what works for you best and what outcome you want to achieve. So for the rest of the shirt I'm gonna go with the second method, and we'll continue once I'm done. By the way, what I'm doing right now is use the colorless blender to soak the ink that I accidentally color on the triangle. Awesome, so now we're going to use some orange tones to color the triangle on his chest. Then I'm gonna use a darker tone to add some shade at the edge. And of course we'll blend it with the brighter tone. Next we are going to focus on the belt. So for the belt we're going to start with the red colors. I'm going to use 3 tones of red for that. We'll start with the brightest one, just fill in all this area. Then I'll use the mid-tone. Add the darker tone on the far left and right next to the buckle. And then I'm simply going to add more layers to blend the colors. Awesome. Now we're going to color the kanji. So as you can see in the anime, it's a gold plate. I'm gonna start with a very bright yellow, covering those areas of the highlight. Then we are going to use a mustard color. And for the darkest tone, we're going to use a lionette gold. And now all we have to do is just blend the colors. So we're going to use the brightest tone, the mid-tone, and the darkest tone again to get a nice harmony with the colors. And you can also use the colorless blender if you want to get more lighted areas. In that way, the colorless blender soaks the ink from the paper, which makes the area look brighter. Awesome, and now we're going to color his left arm. I'm gonna start with the darkest tone, marking all the shaded areas. Then I'm gonna use the brightest tone, marking all the highlighted areas. After that, we are going to use the mid-tone, and then we are going to blend all those colors together and basically go by the feel of it. If you see that the left side is not as dark, what you want to do is use the darkest tone again, adding more layers. Awesome, so once we are done with that, we can move on to the skin tone. So for his skin, I'm gonna use 3 tones as well. We're going to start with the brightest one and just covering all this area. Then I'm gonna use the darkest tone for the shaded areas. As you can see, because the neck muscles sticks out, they will get more light as well as the trachea. And finally the darkest tone for the most shaded areas. Awesome, next we are moving to the face. Again, I'm gonna start with the brightest tone, covering all the area. If you want to get more ink on the paper, you can color with circle brush strokes. Next, I'm gonna use the mid-tone, and as you can see, I'm not gonna color the areas that sticks out more. For example, the cheeks, the bumps above the eyes. And to finish up, we'll use the darkest tone. Awesome, so now we can move on to the hair. So for the hair, I'm gonna use a kind of gray purple tone. We'll start with the eyebrow with BV23. Next, I'm gonna color the eyes with some gray tones. As you can see, it's a different tone to separate between the eyebrow and the eye. I'm gonna use 3 tones as well. So we're going to use C1, C3, and then C5. Awesome, so now we're going to color the hair. So first I'm gonna start with the brightest tone, BV20. And as you can see, I'm gonna leave some blank areas to create some highlight. And in order to create a more solid look, I'm gonna add more layers. Once I'm done with that, I'm gonna use a darker tone, that's BV23, the same color we used for the eyebrows, and I'm gonna add some shade. After that, I'm gonna take the brightest tone again and I'm gonna do some blending. Next, I'm gonna use a darker tone, BV25, and I'll do that in order to create a nice gradient. And finally, I'm gonna use the darkest tone, which will be BV29, and I'll do that with a minimum use. And to finish up, I'm gonna take the colorless blender and I'll apply it on the blank areas in order to blend them with the brightest tone. And we are done! Everybody? So, this is how you draw Ultra Instinct Goku with his Grand Priest outfit. I hope you guys and girls enjoyed this tutorial. Let me know how you did in the comment section. Of course, don't forget to support my channel by sharing the video with your friends. Hit the like button. This will allow me to create more tutorials for you all. And if you want to see more tutorials, you can always check out my tutorials playlist. That's it for today. Thanks a lot for watching. Keep being awesome, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace!